The opinions expressed on Late Night Health are presented for educational and informational purposes only and are not intended as a diagnosis, treatment, or as a substitute for other professional medical advice, diagnosis, and treatment. Please consult a local physician or other healthcare professional for your specific healthcare and or medical needs or concerns.
Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen along with the insane Daryl Wayne. If you have questions for us, write us at info@latenighthealth.com, info@latenighthealth.com. We're going to go to the East Coast, the Boston area. We're going to talk to Dr. Charles Sutera. He is a dentist, but he does more than just general dentistry. He does everything from implants, TMJ, oral surgery. He believes a multidisciplinary approach allows for the highest level of dental treatment. Dr. Sutera, welcome to Late Night Health.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
Doctor, why do people hate dentists?
I think it's a long-standing, misnomer of how things used to be in dentistry, but the future of dentistry is much brighter than the past. I think, we're still kind of thinking of how things used to be, before it's modern day. And some of that still does exist, don't get me wrong, but I think, people kind of think of those old movies where dentistry is associated with pain and, the technology used was very rudimentary and very, very, frightening, to be honest. But now we're kind of getting into this newer generation that most dental practices, at least they shouldn't be that way.
I know that a lot of people don't know that the dentistry industry, if you will, what they've done is they're almost trying to put themselves out of business. People don't get as many cavities as they used to. They don't have as many gum issues as they used to because dentistry has become a preventive healthcare arm, if you will. And I think that's great, and I wish the rest of the medical and healthcare community would do that as well. Would you agree with that?
I think, it's evolved to the point where we're treating people at a higher level, so we're maintaining them better. So the problems that people are having nowadays are different than they were in the past. So instead of, extracting teeth and people going without teeth or missing teeth and restoring them with dentures and things like that, now we're talking more, if someone breaks a tooth or fractures something, we're restoring with an implant, and it almost restores them to near perfect health again very easily. So things happen a lot easier and a lot more efficiently nowadays, and we're seeing the breadth of treatment that we're performing has changed to more cosmetic type surgeries and procedures, and also more functional in terms of now people are having more jaw issues because there's different orthodontic procedures that may have affected them early in life, and they're just not comfortable with their jaw position because of that, and we're able to treat those different concerns that before we didn't really understand. So people kind of lived with these conditions and these jaw pains and toothaches that now we don't have to have them live with.
One of the things that I'm curious about is that we see implant, one-day implant surgeries. They're advertised on TV. At least they are here in Southern California. And one of the things that get me is that it doesn't look like they're individual teeth. It looks like it's almost like a veneer. It's one piece that's implanted. And that doesn't seem to me, it's almost like putting a false top or bottom in. Am I wrong in that?
Well, the implant itself is basically stimulating the root of a natural tooth. But that root, once it's implanted, can be used in many different ways. So it's versatile. You can put a single tooth on top of an implant, or you can use it to make a bridge, just like you would bridge a gap in the mouth with teeth, or it can also support a denture. So it's not so much that the implant, is one piece that's implanted. It's a matter of how it's being used to restore the mouth. And there's different factors based on the amount of bone and the finances of the patient. That's why those decisions might be changed, and we might choose one over the other. But it allows a whole variety of different options by putting, one or two implants in. You can kind of allow for multiple different varieties of treatment.
One of the things that I know that I know somebody who's had a single implant. The tooth went bad. I can't remember what happened, but it was quite expensive, like $1,500, $1,600 for a tooth. I think we have more than 20 teeth in our mouth. That's
32.
32. So at $1,000 a tooth, that's a $32,000 procedure if you need all your teeth replaced.
Yeah, and it varies based on the part of the country you're in. I mean, it could be, X amount to, and multiple of that depending on if it's a major city. But, that's the short-term investment. The long-term investment is, being able to chew and function and prevent these issues that happen later in life if that isn't restored. So if someone's been missing a tooth for 10 years, the teeth around it start to move just enough to cause issues where the bite doesn't align anymore as it did, and then the jaw position's off, and it starts to cause different pains of the jaw and muscle pain that could be much more expensive than just replacing that one tooth.
One of the things that I don't get is why people don't like to go to the dentist, and in fact, a lot of times you can be put out now. And I'm flipping from one topic to another because we have a limited time together. Is it okay to be? And I know that you have a specialty. One of your specialties, you have many specialties, is anesthesiology, right? And so you can put me out, and you can work on my mouth.
Exactly. That's become a huge part of my practice, and it's not just the act of putting someone to sleep during their treatment, although that's a big part of it. It's about the whole experience. So if someone walks in, and from the moment they walk in, they should be taken care of and make sure they're comfortable and listened to and not judged. And that starts the whole experience. So, from the moment we start speaking with the patient and listening to them, they feel at ease. And you kind of build that trust and rapport and work up their whole treatment plan. And then if they choose to be asleep for it, we can do a dental treatment much more efficiently. So if someone that needs, multiple teeth restored or multiple issues corrected, we do many of that oftentimes in one or two visits instead of maybe 10 to 20 visits if it's a lot of dental work. So for a lot of patients, it's a way of efficiency and maximizing, the amount of time that they're in the office, allowing it to be as minimal as possible.
Do you like going to the dentist and even just getting a simple cleaning? I mean, you just have your hygienist clean you, but do you enjoy that yourself?
Well, I think that was a big part of why I went into dentistry because, my dentist growing up was, a leader and a role model in the community and someone that I saw as, having a high level of integrity. And that's what I hope for our profession. Most dentists are, and I think there's still some outliers and some movies out there that kind of give the wrong impression. But I think, as a whole, dentists are generally very good, and they dedicate a large portion of their life to studying and being empathetic towards their patients. So I would hope that more and more people begin to kind of reduce that stigma of being fearful, because a lot of times their imagination is running wild, and once they actually get into the situation, they realize it's not as bad as they believe it to be.
I keep thinking in the back of my head from Little Shop of Horrors, the song that Steve Martin sings in the movie, I want to be a dentist, and you know the song, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a funny song, and it talks about wanting to give pain and how as a kid he pulled I guess he poisoned kittens and all kinds of little things. What is your website in case somebody in the Boston area wants to come and visit you and or just has a question in general? What would that website be?
The website's aestheticsmilereconstruction.com, and there's a lot of information on there, about various dental conditions, particularly sedation dentistry and T&J, and then cosmetic dentistry. There's a whole breadth of information that people can learn about. We see patients across the entire country. Some people travel long distances.
Got it. Give us the website one more time because we are running out of time.
It's Aesthetic Smile Reconstruction.
.com. Doctor, thank you very much. Look forward to an opportunity of speaking again. All right, we're out of time for this segment. We will be back in just a couple of moments with Robert Clancy, our regular contributor here at Late Night Health. Visit us at latenighthealth.com. Don't go away. More coming up.
Welcome to Guide to the Soul. This is Robert Clancy. To think like an angel, you just have to see the love that's within all of those around you. It's as simple as sharing what's in your heart. When you think, act, and love just like an angel, there's little difference between you and these beautiful celestial beings. When you awake, begin your day in gratitude for something in your life. Start your day by embracing the first person you meet with a hug and a kiss. If you encounter someone in need, help them. It's as easy as sharing a smile or a kind word. And most importantly, love, love, love. It's that simple.
For more inspiration from Robert Clancy, visit GuideToTheSoul.com or go to the Moments with Robert page on LateNightHealth.com.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. As we wrap up our program today, we go to Robert Clancy, our regular contributor and the author of the best-selling book, The Messenger. You can find out more about that by going to GuideToTheSoul.com, GuideToTheSoul.com. Lots of information there about Robert, his books, his blogs, his videos, all kinds of stuff at GuideToTheSoul.com. Robert, we're going to talk about holding space today. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, my inspirational thought is when you hold space for yourself and others, your heart has all the room it will ever need. And it's about being patient with yourself and having the time to allow things to evolve. And I was speaking with a colleague yesterday about the anticipation. They thought things were supposed to move faster for them in their career, and it took a little bit of time. And I said, you just really have to have that space and grow into it when it's ready.
So it's like a placeholder for life.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that you want to, you basically want to give yourself that room. And also to have the patience to allow things to unfold when you're ready. And, my book came out, my first book, I started writing it in 2008. It's 40 years to finish it. And I wanted it, done, and it just kept, things getting in the way, and I wasn't really ready. And then when the book came out, you're ready to just let everything evolve, and I wanted to get out there and do interviews and get the word out on all these things that I wrote. And it didn't happen right away. And I really wasn't ready for all of those things then. I needed time to evolve, time to train, time to learn, and time to grow. And it's really about holding that space for yourself.
Well, the word patience comes to mind, right? And it's something that the older I get, the less I have. And waiting for something to happen has always not been one of my favorite things to do, because I might think I'm ready for the next step. Any comments?
Yeah. As time evolves, you sort of get impatient about those things. And I've actually dialed it back. As I've gotten older, I've kind of given myself more time to allow those things, because I realize it's going to happen in perfect timing and when it's ready and when I'm ready to receive it. And it takes a little bit of balance to do that, to let go of those things, to surrender to your life and to where you're going, and to allow that to unfold when it's ready. It's almost, like trying to make a flower bloom before it's ready. It's not going to be right. And you really want it to be in the right time. And I found time and time again that's often the case, that when it does happen, it is the right time for it to happen.
The right time, by the universe, by God, by Jesus, by whatever you believe?
Yeah, it's in God's timing, and in some ways I've heard some colleagues and friends say that when the timing's right. But also, you need to be ready for whatever that is. So if you're looking for, your relationship to evolve, your job to grow, in where you're heading with your career, or with your family, or just the time that you need for yourself, you need to be ready for all of those things and allow that space. The word that comes to mind for me is not necessarily patience, but it's peace. It's being at peace with everything that's around you, so that you can step into that serenity that you're supposed to have.
The other day, I met somebody who has basically struggled financially all of his life. He's in his advanced 60s, and he's had an idea for 10 or 15 years, and has finally decided he's got to do it now, or it won't happen. His biggest issue is, will I be here to see the fruits of my labor? Because he's in his late 60s. And I told him, yes, of course you will. But that's from my perspective. He's an inventor and came up with an idea that's a good idea. But that's his biggest worry, that he won't live to see his invention accepted by his industry.
Right. Well, you brought up an interesting point. When you said fruits of labor, I love that metaphor, because if you think about it, and I just saw an article recently in the paper for a local farm, and the guy started his farm years ago. It's a Christmas tree farm, and it took a while for these trees to mature. And he said it was about the journey. Now the trees are ready to go, but it was more about tending to the garden. So, when you're waiting for things to blossom, the journey is actually tending to those things, and then they blossom. And whether you're there to see them or not, somebody will. And I kind of ride that again at that peace level of allowing that. Half of the most, I guess the greatest thing about gardening is the gardening itself. It's not the end where you're picking the vegetables and the fruit or whatever comes out, but it's taking care of those things along the way.
It's chasing the squirrels away, yes.
And those too, yes.
Yes.
And the rabbits and whatever else gets in there.
Exactly. Deer in your area, I would think. Well, it also seems, it seems to me like a relationship, okay? Two people meet, they pursue each other, they get into a relationship, and the relationship fizzles. But that chase, the journey, if you will, was exciting to both of them. Is that kind of what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's and the other part of it is, after that honeymoon phase is over, it's how do you keep that rekindling going, and that's the space that you're creating to keep putting energy into it. But still, you have to set your GPS, where you're going, how you're getting there. You can take the roundabout way, the scenic way, the direct way. The GPS is going to correct you. And it's like that when you're holding that space. As long as you know where you're going, you will get there. And you just need to keep moving forward. But you have to have action in that equation for that to happen.
Action is the key here. But you, in other words, with things like The Secret and other law of attraction kinds of programs, they don't always tell you about that last thing, the action. They talk to you about having faith, which is very important, believing in yourself, believing in a higher power. That's all great. But they often don't mention that word, action.
Yeah, it does take that, because you have to put some energy towards something in order for it to continue on that path for you.
So in the case of the inventor, he needs to go maybe and find an investor. He needs to go or at least look for an investor, and maybe one will pop up somehow, or look for a manufacturing plant, look for the different facets of his business. He can't just say, I have an idea.
Yeah, it's part of that. It's when you have your idea together in that scenario, you also have to have something to back it up. But you're moving forward again, and it's not the rush to finish the race, but it's really the race itself is where you're placing yourself to get there.
So it is doing that action part that really brings everything together, coalescing into your dream and what you want, right? Robert, thank you very much for joining us. If you want information on Robert Clancy and his book, The Messenger, go to guidetothesoul.com, guidetothesoul.com. And we appreciate Robert. He'll be back with us next week here on Late Night Health. Well, that wraps up our edition of Late Night Health. If you have comments or questions, you can always write us at info@latenighthealth.com, info@latenighthealth.com. Have a happy holiday time. I know Thanksgiving was last week, but we're in the holiday season. So have a great holiday season. Have a good week. Have a great week. And most importantly, have a healthy week. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Late Night Health with Mark Allen. Join us again next week.
The latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me? Criminally insane. Stick around to find out.
Many of the artist interviews for the latest from the greatest have been captured on audiobook. There is a Volume 1 and Volume 2. Great information and conversations with people in the industry and people surrounded by the industry, and of course the rock stars themselves.
I'm the Reverend Al Green, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne. And I said Wayne Insane.
You can find it on Amazon or Blackstone Audio. Search for the latest from the greatest from Daryl Wayne, Darrell Wayne.
Hello, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne, aren't you?
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.